What's going on, guys? Shane here. Apologize, it's been a few days since I posted a full-length video. I wanted to spend a few days with these knives we're talking about over the next couple of days. I wanted to get a really good feel for them. And I want to start out with guys talking about, just the Kershaw Launch series in general. Guys, this was the Kershaw Launch 1. This is the knife that started the Kershaw Launch series. And I feel like this knife, I feel like it represents a lot of things. For one, I feel like it represents an absolute achievement in design and execution from Kershaw. And I also feel like it represents an absolute failure and a missed opportunity. Now, guys, by failure, I don't mean that this knife is a failure at all. This knife is an absolutely wonderful option. If you want an automatic, these things are made great. They're good materials. They're made in the United States, and they have a absolute fair price point. Many of you may have seen my short where I compared the Launch 1 to the ProTech TR4. This is a bigger knife. It's a 4-inch blade. However, the price difference between these two is over $150. So over $150 more for this ProTech. And keep in mind, this laser work, that's something I had done personally. That doesn't come on these. So let's talk about the difference in materials. They both have aluminum scales. This one's a CPM D2 blade, which I have zero issue with. And the Kershaw is sporting a CPM 154 blade. Now, for some of you guys, blade steel is not important. Edge retention is not a big deal. Toughness, corrosion resistance. Some guys just don't care about that, and I get it. But I feel like these steels, I feel like they're relatively equal. And by that, I don't mean they're the same, because this one's more corrosion resistant than this. D2 was originally made for machine shop work, making dies, tooling dies, things like that. Whereas the CPM 154 was originally designed for the aeronautical industry. There's a lot of differences between these steels, but as far as performance, unless you're comparing it to an extreme situation, I feel like they're going to be about the same for you. The biggest difference in these, of course, is size, which if you've been in the knife community long enough, you know size doesn't necessarily relate to price. A lot of times smaller is even more expensive. But I feel like this is an absolute home run, guys. What Kershaw managed to do here. One other thing I wanted to bring up, people always talked about the famous ProTech fire. This thing fires so hard, you'll feel it jolt in your hand. And some people love that. I don't necessarily have an issue with it, but I do feel like that the Kershaw is just more comfortable to open. It doesn't fire quite as hard. However, it fires plenty hard. Now, I know you guys saw that this video was labeled the Kershaw Launch13 because that is what I wanted to talk about. However, I didn't want to do a standalone video on the one because I've done it before. Most of you have seen it. For those of you who haven't, here's an opportunity for you to get a good look at it. And for guys who like a more standard knife design, this may be the one that you want. This may be the one that calls your name. So yeah, if you're interested in a Kershaw Launch series, they carry them at Blade Ops. Blade Ops is huge on automatics. I'd much appreciate if you use my link when you get ready to purchase one. This is the Kershaw Launch 1. This is where it started, and this is where it led to. Guys, there's a reason why I skipped so many models, because Kershaw went down the same path as a lot of people, and we're trying to make more knives that were California and other liberal state compliant. So they got very small. I don't care for those small ones. This is the first one that came out after the one that really piqued my interest. This is the Launch13. This is the knife that convinced me that they shit the bed after this, and I'll tell you why. First of all, this knife is it's just super cool, man. Just the looks of it, the design of it. Everything about it is an absolute home run. It's a little bit thin in hand, but not uncomfortable. This is not a knife I would want to use all day, every day. However, there are very few knives I'd want to use all day, every day. Um, there's probably just a handful of knives on the market that are comfortable enough to do that. Say the Spyderco Shaman may be one of those, with its contoured handles. These are not contoured. They did seem to go a little bit more form over function on the handle design. However, it's not uncomfortable. But like I said, I wouldn't want to have to use it all day. I'm sure my hand would be sore. But as far as looks goes and performance goes, this thing is an absolute winner. I love the design of this knife. And to get to what I meant by Kershaw had a huge missed opportunity here is because there are a lot of states. No, I'm sorry, it's not a lot. There are a handful of states where even a side open automatic, switchblade, whatever you want to call it, is still illegal. To be clear, California is not a state where an automatic is illegal. However, it can't have more than a 2-inch blade. So this knife is already limited at how many states it could be sold. Where I feel like they missed the mark. This design is cool enough without the spring. Had they made this a manual knife, there's no doubt in my mind they would probably sell twice as many of these in manual as they would in automatic. Reason for that is because it is a super cool looking design. It is a very good working design. It has a good grind. It's not super thin. It's not super thick. This just makes for a great EDC knife. I think it would be an even more. I'm not saying it would be a better EDC knife in a manual. I'm just saying it would interest more people. The fact that somebody at Kershaw didn't say, "Hey, let's put a flipper tab or let's put a thumb stud on this and make it a manual," they missed the boat, man. There's no doubt. I know personally. I know at least 100 people, just me personally, that would purchase this knife if it was manual. So that's what I mean by they kind of shit the bed there. They missed a huge opportunity. It's not too late. I think they could go back and make this in a manual, even if it was a phosphor bronze washer knife and didn't have super cool action. Nobody cares about that. There's it'd be a fine knife without it. If they could put it on bearings and make it have good action, then you could appease those non-knife guys that want a sharp toy in their pocket. So you'd have the best of both worlds. I do. There is one other thing that gets. I love the captured triangular shaped pivot. I think it would have been really cool if they'd opposed that with a triangular shaped button. I think that would look even better on this knife. The pocket clip, the deep carry, they did kind of miss the mark on. They didn't use flat screws or inset the clip. However, it works fine, guys. It's not that big a deal, especially for what you're paying for this and a USA made automatic. I feel like for that same money, if they could make it in a manual though, they'd sell out. It would be incredible to see. But yeah, I love this thing, guys. I'm glad I got to spend a few days with it. Is it the best cutter I've ever experienced? No, it's not. I'll do a quick paper cut test just to show you. It does cut fine. The factory edge leaves a little to be desired, as almost any factory edge does, other than just a handful of brands. I'm just saying it could be better. It does cut. Actually, it actually cuts a little better than what I was giving it credit for. I only went by looking at it. Anytime I can see the belt marks in a factory edge, I think it needs refined. But as you just saw there, it cuts absolutely beautifully. So I don't know. I'm trying to see if I have anything here that maybe I could give you a size comparison. Something most of you may know. I'll just throw it up here with the Hogue Deca. As you can see, it's just a little bit bigger than a Deca. Just a little bit more blade, a little bit more handle. So it's not a huge knife. Once again, if they made it in a manual and if they made an XL, that would be even cooler. But Kershaw, I know you're not going to watch. I know you're not going to hear me. And even if you did, I know you wouldn't listen. But I'd love to see this in a manual model. Anyway, guys, that's it. I think it's pretty much very well known across the knife community. Everybody I've talked to seems to really, really love this design. So if you haven't owned one yet, um, this is going to be my first one. I just can't let this go back. I'm going to have to purchase it. But yeah, hats off to Blade Ops. Hats off to my boy Andy over there. He's my contact. Um, he was excited for me to get these and check them out too. So I really appreciate those guys for loaning these knives into me, let me check them out. So go get you one. Use my link. You guys know I appreciate any amount of time y'all spend with me. Peace. Love you guys.